A ship longer than 3 football fields just arrived off the coast of Guyana. It is carrying an entire oil factory on its back. This chart shows the sheer volume we are talking about. 250,000 barrels of throughput a day, stacking up against 2 million barrels of total storage. The vessel is called Errea Wittu. The hull was built in China. Topsides were integrated in Singapore, a $12.7 billion project. When you see multi-billion-dollar hardware like this finally drop anchor, it is easy to assume the heavy lifting is over and the oil is secured. This regional output chart shows what happens when this unit starts up. Guyana crosses 1 million barrels a day, a country of under 1 million people. That jump puts them right past Venezuela, making them the second largest oil producer in South America. But if you look 1,700 meters down, you find a very different reality. 6 months ago, a crew pre-laid the anchors. The mooring lines have been sitting in the bark, entirely slack, waiting for this ship. That reveals the catch. A moored hull floating on the surface is not a producing asset. $12 billion of steel means nothing because the oil stays exactly where it is until the real work starts. The first phase is called hookup. The ship has to be physically tethered and integrated into the ocean floor. Those slack chains sitting on the seabed have to be lifted, connected to the hull, and winched aggressively against the tension of the ocean current. Next, the crew pulls in the subsea risers. These are the physical steel pipelines that actually ferry the crude from the earth up to the vessel. Then they terminate the umbilicals. If the risers are the plumbing, the umbilicals are the nervous system. They carry the power and signals that let the ship communicate with the subsea wells. Once all of that is done, the factory is fully connected to the earth. But the entire plant is still completely cold and dead. Now comes commissioning. You do not just flip a switch to wake up a floating hydrocarbon plant. It is a slow, dangerous process of proving the system's work. The first move is energizing the main power generation and distribution. The control room wakes up, and the focus shifts from moving heavy steel to monitoring digital architecture. Technicians have to run point-to-point tests on every single fire and gas loop to make sure the safety nets are actually listening. This matrix shows the emergency shutdown logic. They must prove that if a catastrophic event occurs, the plant can instantly protect itself. You cannot automate this or push a batch update like consumer software. These interlocking safety systems must be manually verified end-to-end. Every single pressure boundary, every digital command, and every piece of that billion-dollar hardware is useless until it is physically cleared. All of those rigorous steps terminate in one specific requirement, a sign-off by what the industry calls a competent person. Every tested loop and protocol requires a highly specialized human being to review the data and physically accept liability for the plant's safety. That manual signature dictates the schedule for the entire operation. Billions of dollars in sovereign wealth and massive geopolitical shifts sit completely paralyzed in the water until that specific authorization is granted. Over the last 30 years, offshore vessels have scaled up. They are larger, more expensive, and carry thousands more interlocking parts than their predecessors. This chart highlights the asymmetry. The expanding area represents the size of the massive offshore factories, while the flat line at the bottom tracks the pool of specialized human talent capable of bringing them online. There are very few engineers on the planet with the operational experience and the exact qualifications required to sign off on deepwater shutdown logic. That severe human scarcity is exactly where the premium money flows in the modern energy sector. Human commissioning capacity remains the ultimate binding constraint on global energy. First oil waits for the signature.